a 2006 Mazda 3. It has a misfire. I will say it also has a misfire due to a blown head gasket, but I'll need to make sure that it's the head gasket itself that's blown and not like a piston that's defective. Or a possibility is a intake valve or exhaust valve. So I'm gonna check things out. Either way, if it is a intake valve, exhaust valve, which I highly doubt because of what it's doing, it's not experiencing any type of intake leaks. Ooh, God. Try to get a blow by. Try to get a blow by on there. Let me see how many miles it's got on it. This car did come from the auction, by the way. I tell you, man, I have not had any. Was it 150 miles, 150,000? So I can tell you, I've never had any luck with vehicles coming from the auction, people buying them unless they got them for like a dirt cheap price. But I know it's cylinder one. I can assure you that because of when I disconnect the coils of how it climbs back up the RPM. So you can try this if you ever have a misfire and detect low compression. I'm gonna leave the camera here and start it up, and you can hear how it sounds when it has low compression. Safe spot there. Not sure I would have showed up, but you can hear an obvious drop in the cylinder pressure. But I mean, from experience, I mean that's what you'd be able to hear if there's a cylinder low on pressure. It wouldn't sound flush. It sounds like there's a drop in pressure as if you're taking a spark plug out on one cylinder. But one thing you can do when you disconnect the coils and listen to how the RPMs climb back up. This is not extremely conclusive, but it can point you to the right cylinder. Now I will say what's going on with this one is that this number one cylinder here at idle has a faint misfire. When you rev it up, it clears up. It revs up and clears up because the pressure builds as the RPM raises. So it's not bad to the point where it's an obvious blown head gasket, like there's oil mixing. Coolant mixing the oil, or vice versa. There's no significant pressure on the hose here. But when I first got the car, there was a significant amount of pressure on the hose, but it was driven 50 miles here to me. So one of the symptoms I look for is how expanded the heater hoses are, which like that one was obviously they probably remedied it by changing the thermostat, I could see, but they probably didn't put the hose on there real tight. But the thing is, this hose looked like it was trying to crawl off if it wasn't for that barb on the end there. So I'm thinking that's just one thing I've looked at also. When I first got it, it was swollen. There was a lot of bubbles, pressure accumulating up in the water valley here in the reservoir. So like I said, one thing you can do, take off the coil, let it die out, and when you connect it back, it should climb. So there is a neighboring cylinder though. Let me try this one. So something like that, but I mean I think that's probably because the idle trying to adjust, but you should be able to do it if you do it the right timing. It'll climb up and do the neighboring cylinder. So yeah, it's not climbing that high. Feel that pressure. Number 2 again. There's probably sometimes it could be a feet of idle. See, it can't even build itself back up with compression when I disconnect this cylinder here. So even like the other ones, see how it jumps back up? I'm gonna do this one. See how it climbs up? I'm gonna do the number 4. See how it climbs up? And I do number 1, it does not do it at all. It can't even, it can't climb because the compression is low. But I'll tell you what, I'm gonna take this coil out, do a quick compression test, get an initial reading, and compare it to a known good one. I probably shouldn't have to, but this is the culprit. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna take this reading because it should be around 150 or so. If not, I'm gonna put oil in the, like drain this fluid inside the cylinder just a little bit, just in case it is a ring issue, and see if it builds up the compression. If it doesn't, then it's going to be a head gasket issue, a burnt valve, or something along the lines of that, which I highly doubt. So I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to pull something that's known good and bad. So I'm pulling number 3 and the 1 out and see what these spark plugs look like. And another way of finding out if the spark plugs are, oh gosh, these valve cover, all this stuff going to be changed. So I'm pretty sure, I haven't taken them out yet, but I'm pretty sure they tried to remedy this issue by changing the spark plugs too. That's common. People will try to correct the misfires instead of get something I want to put on. Instead of finding out exactly what's wrong with it, you get that a whole lot. They'll just shoot parts at it. Alright, let's get that out. So I'm pretty sure if the end of the spark plug is clean in comparison to a normally burned spark plug, which should have like a reddish tint, white tint, depending on the running conditions. I mean, if this whole bank was lean because of the mass airflow sensor, then it should have like a hot red tint to it. But then again, it varies. The fuel trims were like at 20% anyway, plus 20%. So I was trying to add a lot of fuel. Let's see. That's one. That's the one that has the. Yep, I told you. Yep, they put new spark plugs in there and they didn't fix it. You can tell because you don't see the compression seeping through the spark plugs. And these, of course, these are brand new. But yeah. Pull the. This is the bad one. It's not that severely blown. So I know. The head gasket's not that bad because it runs perfectly fine when you're driving it. Well, that was a failure. I didn't bother to record it. It honestly wouldn't have done anything, and I kind of would. I don't want anybody else like trying that, but because of the possibility of spinning the motor backwards, and I don't want to subject anybody to that. And anyway, so there was no pressure going back in the reservoir here, but like I said, the head gasket's mildly blown. Like I said, it runs perfectly fine. It could be a mildly deformed intake or exhaust valve, but from a lean code, it would only make sense for it to be possibly intake valve, just mildly bad, possibly. I don't know anything until I'm gonna pull the head off. Guess I'll do a update, like a part 2 showing what in the world went on with it. But I do know for a fact the cylinder pressure's low. I put oil in the cylinders, didn't bring the compression back up, so I'm pretty confident that the rings are not bad. So it's gotta be something either up top, like a mildly blown head gasket. But from 60 psi, that's pretty low. At the same time, I've seen some that produce like 80 psi, and I did the testing the pressure test inside the cylinders. It's like a leak down test, I guess that's the terminology for it. And it showed up in the coolant, but it's probably so low that the pressure is not capable of pushing through the coolant, I guess. But that's 150 psi through the air pressure line there. Other than that, I'll just update with part 2. I'll probably show the freeze frame in the video here, but I'll get the pulling the head down if I find some time this week and look at my schedule. I ain't got no other jobs coming in because I know it's gonna take, labor time was 10 hours, so but I'll update. Got my head back. Oh well, this dealer guy got his head back. So this is I think I did that when I was trying to extract those shavings, but you know, now this head it really needs a motor anyway. I mean, I should have took more precautions of getting that out, but it's shaved and it's not on the firing side, so I'm not gonna worry about that. This is the side I'm worried about. Since we got the head done, they wound up having pits in here. But again, this is not around the firing. This is where the head had burnt up and had gouges. Again, I still got about 70% of the firing left. I mean, that's pretty significant where it's gonna should work perfectly fine. Let me put the head gasket on top of it and show you. Oh gosh, good job, Brad. Clean it off. Hold on, I'm gonna clean this off. Alright, I got the head gasket put on here so you can see where there's that gouge there, but when I put the head on there, the gasket it sits inside the firing, so I'm fine with that. Same on the other side. If I put the head gasket on cylinder head, it's the block. The light done died. You can see how much room I got. So I really suggested putting the motor in here, but I'm doing as I'm told at the moment. That's why you shouldn't buy cars from these side lots, because they'll just want to patch stuff up and keep it moving. Leave responsibility on the customer. Well, I ran out of memory. So I wanna load it up with copper spray, and I know there's a lot of mixed feelings about this. I mean, I got new head bolts and all new gaskets and everything, new timing chain, everything's going on here, so try to do the best I can with it. Like I said, I know there's a lot of mixed feelings on the copper spray. Well, I got a new container of it. I'm gonna load it on that, lay it on thick, and I'm gonna assume that, you know, it's gonna do its due diligence and help at least from water from getting inside the cylinders. I mean, this block is pretty meaty, so this, again, I mean, when I had it running, well, when it was running, I only knew it had a blown head gas because of the compression. When I pulled the head, of course, it was blown between cylinders, so it explains why I had low compression. I'm just hoping that the piston rings is not compromised as a result of that. I mean, it's just been running so long with the blown head gasket, and I'm pretty sure that's just heat soak right there. But we're gonna see what happens. I'm gonna go ahead and start buttoning everything up, load the copper spray on there, put several coats on it, let it dry, get tacky, get the head on there. We'll get the dials, get the head gasket on, and following all the instructions as far as getting the head gasket or the cylinder head installed. I think I got it on. Probably don't have it on. Right. Sorry about that. Had it upside down. Not perfect. So yeah, either way, the firing is still, the logic still stands with firing and what I'm assuming is going to happen. I'm going to get everything installed, and I'm getting distracted, so Show what happened when I started up, and I'll do a compression test after I get everything running. Slowly making progress. I got the head torqued down, cam caps, and as you can see, got new timing chain guides, got new oil pump chain and tensioner. So I'm going to take a quick break, and I'm gonna pull that axle out so I can get to that plug, so I can put my other special tool in there. Should be one of these jokers. But once you think about it, timing is not that bad on here. I mean, once you get this tool lined up. I'm saying that only because it ain't running right now, and then I can't test my timing setting skills on here. So the bottom sprocket freewheel. So it's a compression washer on this, and it only stops by compression. So that crank pulley has to be on here, which is stupid. I'm gonna be honest. So I'm like forward. So we'll pull the axle out, pull that plug out. I'm debating on pulling this tensioner. I think I'm just going to leave it alone until I get everything at top dead center. I don't know why, just a habit. So once I get that, everything lined up, pull the tensioner, get work on getting the timing cover back on, and the harmonic balancer. Once I get that locked up, then I'll remove my tool and tighten everything back up and rotate it and see what it's doing. I might even probably just spin the motor over while I got everything like it is, just to see if it sounds any different. I doubt it, but we'll see. I mean, the bolts did go in pretty well when I put the torque to yield bolts in. They went in nice and smooth. The bolts did come with like a lube, but I was when I'm using oil on the rest of them, and they torqued down very flush, and everything went pretty fluid. I torqued them at it was probably like 4 steps, but I was going at like 20, and then it was 31, and from 31 you do 88 to 90 to 92 degrees for 2 steps. And that's what I did with these, and they went pretty smooth, except for one. It was kind of having some tough spots, but that, you can't screw up by going that 90 degrees, because it's not like the torque is going to stop it. You have to make a 90-degree turn. So anyway, keep on carrying on, and we'll see what happens.